OK, are you ready to meet the hardest working man in show business?
Yeah, he travels the world's vineyards, tasting the very best wines, but he does it just for you, not for any other reason. It's Tom Cannavan, our wine expert.
It's
Tom.
true, it's all true.
Lovely to see you. Now, something a bit different this week compared to the normal Michelle that stands here. This Michelle doesn't drink.
Don't drink wine at all.
I don't drink alcohol. I don't know, which is really difficult because when you go to dinner parties or you want to buy wine as a gift for somebody, I just don't know where to start because I can't.
Well, you really, I mean, that's partly what this section's all about of there. We try and show people every week some really nice wines to buy. But, you know, one of the things to do is just to learn a little bit about wine, and I think the best way to do that is to taste a little bit and just try and form a kind of opinion of what you like. Have you ever tasted wine rather than just drink it?
Yeah, I mean, a toast of champagne, for example, but in general I don't drink alcohol, so I don't know much about it.
Oh, well, hopefully we can teach you a bit about it tonight. We've got 3 wines lined up, and all of them are from Australia. And, you know, Australia's had a kind of tough time. Back in the 70s, it was the country that revolutionised our love of wine because it changed everything. They put the name of the grape on the bottle and the wines were very fruity and very kind of bold. But then the big Chardonnay phenomenon happened, you know, anything but Chardonnay. People get tired of the taste, and Australia suffered from that. But recently, I've been tasting a lot of Australian wines and thinking they're really back on song, and it's time to take another look at Australia, I think.
OK, what are we going to start with tonight?
OK, starting with tonight, number 1 is a Chardonnay, so that's the classic Australian grape, and it's from the Jacobs Creek. It's the 2009 Chardonnay, £6.69 in Sainsbury's, so not too expensive, and it's only 12.5% alcohol. You know, it's not a big blockbuster. It's quite refined. Have a little taste of it. Now, just swirl your glass gently there. You can do it on the table if you like, Michelle. Okay. And when the wine's swirling, just have a wee sniff. And that lets the aromas come up. And I think you can smell a lovely kind of buttery smell in there. A little bit of something like peach, lemon, definitely, I think.
Yeah, very fruity, actually.
Very fruity, lots of fruit. Have a little sip of it. And, you know, it's not a big, heavy, vanilla, kind of cloying sort of Chardonnay. Quite crisp.
Obviously, a Chardonnay dry. It's supposed to be dry.
It's dry. Chardonnay's normally dry. And, you know, there are certain grapes that you sometimes find a little bit of sweetness in them and they make sweet wines, but Chardonnay generally dry, so if you're looking for a dry, food-friendly wine, it's often a
really
banker.
fruity as well, isn't it? Pineapple,
Terrifically,
just tons of fruit.
Exactly, Stephen, and they haven't smothered it with oak, which is what people didn't like. So the wines are changing, you know, and as I say, only 12.5% alcohol.
Right, we're going to do another white for our second wine tonight. This one's different.
It's different. It's a different grape, and it's... Whereas Chardonnay is the grape that everybody's heard of and it made Australia famous, the second grape is called Verdelho. This is the Fox Hollow Hunter Valley Verdelho, 2008, and it comes from Marks and Spencer's. Price has gone up a bit to $9.99. Verdelho grape, a bit unusual. It's actually one of the main grapes of Madeira, the sweet wine that comes from the island of Madeira. But here the Australians are making it dry, savoury, again food-friendly, quite light and crisp. Have a little swirl again.
Your technique again.
That's it. Just gets those aromas flowing up the glass, and have a little sniff of it. And it's quite kind of lemony, quite fresh. Little touch of something like apricot or peach again, but quite light.
I would prefer that one to the first one.
It
seems lighter.
I think it is lighter.
You know, people talk about easy drinking wines, Tom. Is that how you describe this one here?
I would, Stephen. Only 12% alcohol this time, so it's not a heavy wine. It's crisp and it's fresh, you know, it's not sweet at all. You know, if you have a little sip of it, finishes dry, would be terrific with all sorts of food because it's got that dryness, but it's not difficult, it's not heavy, it is quite easy to drink.
You can imagine if there's good weather this weekend, a barbecue sitting outside drinking that would be lovely.
Picnic or barbecue would be perfect, you know, have it with some cold roast chicken or something like that would be delicious. But it's the sort of wine that's lemony, fresh. You can have it with fish and chips, you know, you can have it with anything. It's not pretentious. $9.99 is not cheap, but it's a really nice quality wine.
So that's your favourite so far, Michelle, yeah?
That's my favourite so far, and that's always the thing when you're taking wine to somebody, you wonder the price bracket, so $9.99, that's a good wine.
Oh, I would definitely say so. I mean, the average price that people pay for a bottle of wine in the UK is still less than a fiver. You know, the average price is not much more than £4. So I've said it in this show loads of times, Stephen's fed up hearing me saying it, but anywhere between about £6 and £8 is a great quality kind of level to
Okay, let's do our last wine, which is a red tonight.
Red, and another classic, because, you know, this is a Cabernet Shiraz blend. It's the Oxford Landing Cabernet Shiraz 2007. It's £6.24 from Majestic. Bit of a deal on just now, buy two and they're only £4 $7.99 each. And Cabernet and Shiraz, classic Australian blend. Something you'd never get in France, because the two grapes come from different regions, but perfect in Australia. Have a little nose of this one, a little smell of the wine. Quite earthy, black fruit. Little taste of it.
Not what I expected at all.
It's quite dry, Michelle.
Yes.
Quite dry. It's not as fruity. This is a 2007, and you know the 2008 is also in the shops, and it's probably just that little bit fruitier. So if you like that style, go for the younger wine. With reds, that's always the tip. The younger ones tend to have the more kind of upfront fruit. As they get older, they're a bit more savoury. They don't need the food, I think.
OK, what do you think, Michelle?
I would be concerned about the red for the teeth staining. That's not
Yes, that's the other side of the coin.
priorities for me. Number 2, I think, was the easiest on the palate. Yeah.
Delicious. That's the one you would have. Well, maybe we'll convert you.
Tom, thank you very much indeed. You're back next week. We launch our World Cup of Wine.
It's the World Cup of Wine. We're taking the 8 top seeds in the World Cup, the football countries. We're going to get a wine from each country, and we're going to pit them against each other.
Can't wait for that. Look
Should be
forward to
fun.
it. Thank goodness Scotland's not there. Right.